All right, well, I am trying something a little different here. I am currently recording in my video editing software because I didn't even plan on recording, uh, and that was me trying to click out of the audio recorder. So I'm probably not going to keep with this, but I didn't plan on recording me doing a replay mod video, but I did it, and I think I did it really well. So several episodes ago, I talked about how I didn't know how to do certain things, and I watched a couple of tutorials, and I've kind of figured it out. I'm still not great at it. That will take many more videos, but I thought I could share at least what I've learned. So I hope you enjoy this video. I'm going to start after getting something better to record audio with, but I'm starting right here immediately after finishing recording something that I wanted to replay in, and how I stopped recording and exited the game. Thanks. Enjoy the video. Okay, so you can see right here, I'm stopping the recording, and then I save and exit the game. And then I have to wait for, in the upper right hand corner, you can see where it says saving replay file. I have to wait for that to go away. And depending on how long I was recording for, this can take many minutes. I've seen it take a half hour. You just gotta wait for it to finish, and it should finish here in just a minute because this was a relatively short one. It doesn't seem to be directly related to how long the replay file is. I don't know, maybe it's if I'm watching something on another screen or what. But it will finish here in just a second. And maybe I will cut this because this is taking a lot longer than I expected. Although we're still only at a minute. And this was like an hour-long recording. So there, it just finished. So now you'll see I'll click on where it says Replay Viewer and go into the Replay Mod editor in a second. I didn't think it took me this long to click on it because I was kind of watching it. Here I go. So now I click on the replay viewer, and then I select the latest file, and I double click on it. You can also click load down in the lower left on one of the buttons. And this takes a little while to pull up. So right now what it's doing is it's loading that entire hour-long recording that I did. And it might have only been 45 minutes. I don't remember exactly. Now, when I load in, a couple things to note. Number one, it's already playing. You can see in the upper left corner there is a pause button. And second thing is that I start where my spawn is. So I didn't start where I wanted to start. So I had to find in the replay where I'm at. Which, if you know what you're recording, that's not hard to do. But now I go to it and I take the timer back to 0 so that I'm the replay is going to start when I hit record in the replay mod settings, or in the settings on the Minecraft replay. And now there's some ghost blocks because I went backwards in time. Every time you go forwards and backwards in time without hitting play, there's ghost blocks that appear. So I'm positioning the camera where I want the camera to start, and then I select keyframes. I also adjust the speed up because while I'm editing, I want the camera or the movement to work as fast as possible, which is only 8 speed. Now, you can actually export a file that is significantly farther. Now I'm going to the second position, and I kind of guess a little here. I go to one place and then I move it to another because I didn't like being that far, and I thought, you know, I like 15 seconds for 10 minutes, especially for something like this. So there's 10 minutes of playtime that goes in 15 seconds, and that was just too far for the camera to move. So now I move the marker for the camera to 15 seconds, and I'm basically going to just sit here and wait. I might click through to make it a little bit faster, but I take... I wait for the video recording to catch up to the 10-minute mark, and I do a little bit more adjusting with the camera to make sure that the camera is actually going to be in a really good place so that I can catch as much as I want from the in the time lapse from the recording. So you can see here I kind of disappear for a few minutes, but in the final product you don't even see this. I'm off getting more cobblestone because I realized I didn't grab nearly enough. There are some chests just off screen that I put some stuff in, but anyways, so now I'm back to it, and I should be approaching the 10-minute mark here pretty soon. And so I go up, and oh, I'm at 13 minutes. So I go backwards, and I click back to the 10-minute mark. And it doesn't have to be exact, is my feeling on this. I don't know. I guess maybe if I was more exact, my videos would be better, and I will get there eventually. But at this point in time, I'm just practicing using the software and trying to really get good at using the software. So now here's the 10-minute mark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to add keyframes, which will mark that this is where the camera should be at 10 minutes. And then I go to a third position, and I wait for another 10 minutes to pass. So I wait for the video to get to the 20-minute mark. Now, I believe I click through on this one. So first I take the key frames where I want the camera to be to the 30-second mark. And then I take and I click so that I move to the 20-minute mark. And that was actually very quick. But now you can see where I'm at there. I make sure my time is right. I make sure where I want the camera to be is right. And then I select the 45 seconds and I move the camera again. And you can do all kinds of fancy stuff, and you can actually see the camera path in the background. It's that thin red line right at the top of the screen. You saw it a little more clearly there for a second, but now here again, I take and I just basically jump to 30 minutes because there is no other things going on. Like when I did the replay mod for the barn, I had to go down and do a bunch of trading with villagers to get quartz and whatnot. So it's a little bit harder to make this as seamless when that is happening, because I disappear off screen and maybe I actually want to record something that I'm doing away from it. You can, so you have two different, if you have two different options for, I keep talking about the keyframes and the camera position. So the camera position is the one that looks like a diamond, and the keyframe is the one that looks like an hourglass. So the hourglass is the one that sets the time in the video. So that's the one that sets, okay, right now it is roughly 30 minutes. It looks like we're at 32 minutes or something like that. And you can see there I went up to 43 minutes is my length of recording for this time lapse. And you can see that I am looking to select a time that isn't exactly in accordance with 10 minutes for 15 seconds. So I'm going to select a time that is roughly 37 minutes. And then I'm going to go down and I'm going to adjust in the timeline for the actual replay. And I'm going to bring that back a few seconds after adjusting the camera a little bit to make sure that I'm catching as much as I can. So I go to 53, 54, 55 seconds, I think. Because 55 seconds is roughly a third, and 37 is 3 minutes less than 10 minutes, which is roughly a third. Like I said, I don't go by exacts on this stuff. And then I hit record again. So I selected both the hourglass and the camera keyframe specifically because I wanted to make sure that the time was captured in the video. Now, you can do, one thing you can do is you can change where that hourglass is, which will change the speed at which the replay plays. I will record another short clip in a minute, or after I finish narrating this, where you can actually see me do that, and you'll see what the difference is. But now I'm just getting the camera in position. Now this one, the camera's going to move quite rapidly, and you see that in the video. But I do the 5 seconds, or actually I think I add, okay, so I add another 5 seconds. Oh, I put a camera angle right after I had started working on the second platform, and then I do a little bit of playing because I wanted to, at the very end of this, kind of show how long the camera, this platform is that I'm working with. Now you see me kind of bouncing around. That's because, so one other thing that you're able to do, which I have not talked about, is you can make the mouse disappear, and then the mouse becomes a better way of controlling the camera, which you've seen me do a few times by hitting escape. Hitting T brings the mouse back, so then you can maneuver the buttons and all that kind of stuff. But in doing that, you're not able to control where the camera is looking with the mouse. You can move the camera, but you can't control where the camera is looking, if that makes any sense. And now here I am finishing up the video, and you can see it really doesn't take long when you record, or when you edit a replay in this. First I watch it, because that's always a good idea. You want to watch to make sure that the replay is going to look the way you want it to. Now, you'll hear all the sounds here, and in the final product there will be no sounds. But yeah, so you can see that the camera path and how I'm moving around. You can see me disappear off screen a couple of times for just a second, but in reality that was like a minute each of those times, but you don't see that because the camera's moving so fast. And here, so I got shot by a skeleton. I add on a little bit to what I was planning. And then you can see the camera move real fast. That's what I'm talking about with adjusting the time keyframe versus the camera keyframe. And you can see me finish it up, and then I swoop down so you can kind of see how big this platform is, because it's like well over 100 blocks long. Absolutely huge. And then I go up and I hit the little thing that looks like a 3.5 floppy disk, which if you're not from the 90s, you probably don't know what a 3.5 floppy disk is. Or if you weren't alive in the 90s, you probably don't know what a 3.5 floppy disk is. And video settings. So video settings is where I actually will render the video into a video. So I have left all of this as default. I usually will go in and change the name so that it coincides with what it is that I'm doing. So here you can see river platform, because it's the platform that's going to be underneath the river. And then I hit the render button, and then it renders the video out. Now, I don't leave the preview enabled because I already watched this. I know what it's doing, and I want it to render as fast as possible. You can see an estimated time of, currently it says 4 minutes and 30 seconds. The time kind of fluctuates, especially in the beginning. But after it gets into it, it will be semi-accurate as to the time, which I will probably cut here because I don't think you need to sit here for 4 minutes just to watch a video render. But yeah. Then after the video finishes, actually, I guess I can just continue here. Then it will output the file. The video will drop back into the replay where you can exit. And usually I go out, and then after I've finished the editing the replay, I started recently changing the name of the replay to coincide with what it is that I was recording, instead of just the date stamp, because a week from now the date stamp won't mean anything to me. And if it takes me a week to make the video, that is a very relevant problem. Making sure that I know what it is that I'm looking for, because there's a couple of times I think I've accidentally deleted the wrong thing, because I go back and I spend a minute clicking around in the replay to see if it was something valid, because sometimes I start recording and then I do something completely different than what I had planned on doing, and it's kind of a question as to whether or not I want to keep that sequence. So it does make a little sound. Sounds like this. When it finishes editing the video, or rendering the replay is what I mean. And yeah, so a couple other things I wanted to talk about. I guess I wanted to show about adjusting the time and showing how you can change the speed and whatnot, and I will show that in a second. One other thing I should probably do is I should probably give credit. I maybe should have done this at the beginning, and maybe I'll go back and add another little statement in the beginning, but I watched two different people talk about replay mod. The one that was most helpful was Pixleriffs, and I will leave that description in the bottom. So he actually has a 3 video, a series, a playlist of 3 videos where he goes through everything from installing the replay mod to all this stuff that I've talked about in this video. This video is going to be a little over 20 minutes. He has 3 videos that are 20 minutes long each. And if you want to know more, I highly recommend going and watching his video, because that will actually teach you more about the software. I just wanted to show what I have learned in the last, I guess I've been using this for a month, a little bit over actually, about 5 weeks, and I've used it for, at least 5 videos, probably 7 or 8 videos. Probably successfully made 8 or so time lapses. Failed at a couple. But yeah, you'll see here it finishes and it pops back into the replay, and then I change the name and everything is done. That's it. So okay, so here I am going to show how to play a little bit more with time. So apparently I only recorded for 46 seconds, but that's okay. Let me see. Where am I going? There I am. I'm over here. So again, you can see I'm already running across the platform. Pretty much already down on the other end. And in a second you'll see me kind of disappear behind the building and come around, and that's because I wanted to show something very specific. But what I'm going to do is, oh, not that button. So here I'm going to demonstrate the T and the escape button. So right now my mouse, so the T and the escape button, what you can see here is I can control the camera by the mouse. Like I can look left, I can look right, I can look up, I can look down, etc. I can also move the camera with the WASD button. So W is forward, A is backwards, just like in the game itself. It's kind of like being in creative. So the camera movement is kind of like being in creative, as far as you can just move around, you can look around, do all that kind of stuff. Now, if I hit the T button, the mouse appears in the center of the screen, which I'm able to move around with the mouse, of course. And that allows me to go in and take the time back to 0, for example. And so you can see me over here where I actually hit the record button. Now I can hit Oh, and after I selected the time, it automatically goes back into the mode where the mouse is controlling the screen. So I hit T again, and then I can come up and I can adjust the speed here. Now this speed has nothing to do with the rate at which the replay is actually going to be created at. So we have the play camera path, we have the render camera path, we have the position keyframe, so that controls where the camera is going to be for the replay. And then we have the time keyframe, so that says that at 0 seconds in the recording I want the camera at this position to be the same as this thing right here. So I don't really know how to explain that. And here you can see me moving around when I have T selected. So I hit escape and then I can go back into this. And what I can do is, let's say I do this, I advance this to 8 seconds, and I hit play, and I let me run across the screen. So what's this time? So that is 5 seconds. Let's do 15 seconds. So this will be slow-mo. And then I hit the camera position, I hit the keyframe time position, and then what I can do is I can move this back to here, and I hit play, and you'll see the camera will move over the course of those 15 seconds. And it's pretty much super slow-mo. And I'm moving like that. So then I can come up here and I can hit play again. I can take and I can move the camera, and so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the camera super fast to here. Let's say over the course of 3 seconds, I want the camera to move. Although, wait a second, that's actually not the 3 seconds, because I need to advance that a little bit. So then there. And then, so here we're at 8 seconds. So this is 18 to 30, that's 12. So let's let the camera go to 20 seconds. There we go, and I hit, so then that, and now if we go back and we watch this, this will be some more weird stuff happening. I'm not sure why it's doing that thing where I'm running backwards. Got the slow-mo as the camera kind of pans a little bit to the left. And then the camera is going to quickly move. Boom, and I speed up to more real time. Not sure why the camera did that exactly. That was not part of my plan, but that looked okay. Anyways, so something else we can do is now if I turn around and I look here, so let's advance this another second and advance this a second. So let's see, 21 and 20 or 31. So we add the position and that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up and I'm going to kind of walk around here for a second, and then I'm going to run around this and back. And I guess here, I'll just play that real quick. I'm not sure why you're not seeing me. I guess maybe I'm out of range. You can see that. But what I can do is, because I have the keyframe where I'm standing here, I can go, let's say, one more second, and I can add another set of keyframes. And what's going to happen is the video is basically going to skip all that time I spent over here and the time I ran around here. It's going to happen so fast you're not going to be able to see it. So if we go back to here, so you're going to see me running down the path now. Or I guess I'm already past that point, but now the camera quickly turns to the back, and you can see how fast I just like flew through that. And I've done that where, and if I played with it a little more, I'd be able to do it so that you didn't even see me. Like you saw 3 clips of me run through that stuff. But now let's say I wanted to keep going. I could, let me see, what's our time here? We're at 43, and the video plays to 46, so I can advance. This is at 33, so I go to 36 so that it's at real time. And then I add another set of keyframes, and I hit. So now if we go and we look, I'm going to have those quick camera movements, which look kind of bad, and this wouldn't be in a normal video, and then it'll slide back into real time and you'll see me take those couple of steps. And it just plays out the rest of it. Now, one other thing we can do is if we go in and we remove all of these time keyframes in the center, what it'll do is it'll average out the time through all the movements. I should have maybe left those in and left it play all the way from the beginning. I did not mean to do that. Okay, so what I want to do is I just want to click there and then play. It's too bad there's no Control Z. I wish there was a Control Z. So now the camera is going to move quite differently. Because now it's averaging the 46 seconds of the recording is going into the 36 seconds of the replay. And so you see I basically completely lost focus with my character. And that was because I removed all of the time keyframes, which are very important. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to have to do some editing, especially with this last one, because my phone rang and fan was making noise and whatnot. But if you liked it, please leave a like. Don't forget to check out the links in the description if you want a little bit more detailed instruction on how to actually do stuff and do fancy stuff and do cool stuff. I am still learning some of that kind of stuff. This is just the bare basics of how the program works. Have a great day.